Hello everyone! Welcome back to Red Doe Reads. Today we have r/Am I the Butthole? If you want me to cover some specific subreddit in the next video, leave it in the comments. Am I the butthole for changing my mind about letting my girlfriend name our son? My girlfriend is currently pregnant with our first child, which we recently learned was a boy. Before we knew the gender, we made a deal that if it was a girl, I would choose name. And if it was a boy, she would pick. That was before I realized I hated every single name on her list, especially the two that she was leaning toward the most, Alien and Gawain. After the Knights of the Round Table, one thing about her is that she has always been into fantasy and mythology, especially the Arthurian legends, and she expressed that she has always loved both of these names. Even though I didn't like her choices, I figure we didn't even know the gender yet, so there was no point in bringing it up. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a boy. Not because I didn't want a boy, but because I didn't want to have this conversation. I was hoping that she would change her mind and pick a better name, but no. She decided on Alien, which I guess is better than Gawain, but I still hate it. It sounds like a D-bag in a teen movie. They were trying way too hard to give a unique name. I asked her if she had any normal names that we would both be happy with. She asked me what was wrong with the name she chose, and I brought up the above-mentioned concern. She got upset and told me that we had an agreement, and she would have accepted any name I chose, even though she didn't like any of them either, I guess because they were normal names. Now she barely talks to me. I've apologized for being so harsh about it, but I would at least like a say in the matter. I even mentioned another name that was on her list that I didn't hate as much, Leon, but she won't budge. I honestly don't think it's unreasonable for me to want to have a say in my own son's name, but everyone I talked to said that they actually really like the name and it's not fair for me to go back on our deal. So, am I the butthole? And here's an edit. Okay, yes, making that deal was stupid and we shouldn't have done it in the first place. And yes, asking her to pick a normal name was a poop thing to say. I'm going to sit down and have an actual conversation with her about it and see if we can come to some kind of an agreement. Maybe it's girl speaking at me, but I say butthole, butthole, butthole. Because after all what women have to go through to produce a child, she can give him name, last name, middle name, nickname, everything. The name is beautiful, it's unique, it's not stupid, there is no such a thing as stupid name. And also, OP is just a meanie towards his pregnant girlfriend. Moreover, name can be changed. It's not forever. We can remember how Kylie Jenner renamed her son like a million times. Oh, by the way, what is her son's name? Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, because I really want to get 25 more subscribers till the end of the week. So if you subscribe, you will make my day. Am I the butthole for putting both my obese and skinny twins on a diet? I have two children, 14-year-old identical twins Megan and Alana. Both are 5 feet tall. Megan weighs over 150 pounds, while Alana weighs around 95. They used to be the same weight until they were around 7, when Megan started getting chubby, but still healthy weight. When she was 11, Megan was considered medically overweight. I went to a doctor for advice, and he said that I shouldn't worry too much since a lot of kids gain weight right before puberty and then balance out after their growth spurt. The twins had their growth spurt last year, and Megan's weight has only increased since then, to the point where she's actually obese. So I decided to implement a healthy diet for the entire family. I slowly started to cut back on sugar, junk food, and unhealthy snacks. I'd cook them high-volume, low-calorie meals full of vegetables and protein so that they feel full after eating. Neither of the twins are very athletic, so I've also tried encouraging them to engage in physical activities like swimming, bike riding, trampolining, etc. I tried putting emphasis on staying healthy instead of losing weight. However, Alana guessed that the reason for this new diet is because I want Megan to lose weight. She started complaining that it's not fair that she also has to diet because her sister is fat. I told her that I didn't want Megan to feel singled out and feel as though she's the only one being punished for her weight. Am I the butthole? And there is an edit. I've gone to multiple doctors and neither of the twins have medical conditions that would influence their weight. Well, first of all, it's great that OP actually consulted the doctor before doing anything. And I do not think that anybody is a butthole here, but the only thing I think OP shouldn't have done is to admit that these dietary changes are because of Megan. Because she did what she feared could happen. She singled Megan out. Am I the butthole for hiring a cleaning service and paying for it out of my wife's budget? My wife is a stay-at-home mom. We have 2 children, 10 and 12. I pay all the bills, put money aside for the kids' education, emergencies, savings, vacations, retirement, etc. Then, whatever is left, I split 50-50 with my wife. Recently, she has decided that I do not do enough around the house, so she wants me to start doing more chores. I asked if we were going to split up all the chores again. What I mean is the kids have their chores, she has hers, and I have mine. So if she wants me to do more, I want mine redistributed as well. I think she can mow the lawn and do the yard work and house maintenance, but this is not what she wants. She wants me to take on more of the chores we agreed would be hers, on top of earning all the money and all the chores I currently have. I asked her what she wanted me to do. She gave me a list. I hired a cleaning service and paid for it out of our budget before splitting the fun money. Now she says that I'm a butthole and being financially hurtful. I think it's a fair compromise. Oh, I totally agree. That's a great idea. And I do not think that OP paid from his wife's money because he paid from their common budget before splitting the fund money. I think this is very fair. I understand that being a stay-at-home mom is very hard. You're always at work. And it is totally normal that you can need help. And that's exactly what husband did. He hired someone to help. So I do not see what is the problem here. Am I the butthole for not attending my mom's birthday dinner over something she said about my autistic son? I am a 29 female mom and I have a 3-year-old son who is autistic. Sadly, my husband passed away in March and I was devastated. I knew I'd have to raise our son alone. I figured I couldn't do it all alone, so I decided to relocate to a small town 70 miles away where my parents, retired 63 male and 60 female, lived. I moved close to my parents partly because they'd be able to help babysit my son whenever I needed to take a break. I rented a cheap house in a quiet, sparsely populated neighborhood, and I found a job in an assisted living facility. Working at the assisted living facility was tedious, and parts of the job were really gross. Also, I was being mistreated all the time. I faced verbal and physical mistreatment daily, and the management would always apologize but do nothing. After 3 months of working there, I decided that I just couldn't do it anymore, and I would be quitting after my next paycheck. One night, while I was asleep, an intruder tried to break into my house. I called the police immediately, but it took over 40 minutes for them to arrive. Thankfully, nothing bad happened, but I knew right then that I wasn't safe there anymore and I needed to move to a safer place. I couldn't sleep at night. In the morning, I called my parents to let them know what had happened and that we'd like to stay over at their place for maybe a few days while I looked for a new place. As soon as our conversation ended, I overheard a conversation between my parents. My mom was unaware that she didn't end the call. I heard my mom say, "She's asking to bring that little weird thing over for a few days." And then my dad goes, "Oh God, please no." That really hurt me because I've always been close to my parents and thought they'd always be there for me. The thing is, I never really bothered them with my son. He's been there like 4 times in 3 months. I felt bad for myself and for my son, it hit me that I was his only true support. I've always been worried about his future and what life would be like for him when I'm gone. This just made it worse. With everything that had happened, I decided it was best to move to a much bigger town about 45 miles away. Later that day, I called my parents and told them that we were moving. The next day we left and we've been here for a week now. Last week, Saturday, was my mom's birthday. My parents are kinda poor and I am an only child, so it's usually a simple family dinner with 3 of her closest friends. On Thursday, I called my mom and told her that I wouldn't make it for her birthday dinner. I didn't tell her what I heard, I just feel like we're not really wanted there. My mom was angry and disappointed knowing I was supposed to help out with the cooking and dinner preparations. We haven't spoken since Thursday. I know she's probably angry at me. I have been thinking about it lately and wondering if I was wrong for not attending. Am I the butthole? No, of course not. Feels like OP's mom only was frustrated that OP did not come and help them for free. Or maybe they were uncomfortable of their daughter not being there, so they had to explain their friends why she's not attending. Am I the butthole for laughing out loud when my husband told me his friends think he's the perfect husband? My husband was all smiles and encouragement when he told me that his friends at church told him they were talking about he's the perfect husband. I immediately laughed and noticed that he was offended by that. I then started to tell him how I believe he's an amazing husband and I wouldn't want to be married to anybody else, but I know the good, bad and ugly, so perfect is not how I would describe you. I could tell he was still not pleased. I told him my reaction was the same way he loves and thinks if only you knew when someone tells him that I must be an angel and they cannot see me getting upset because he sees me when I'm upset often. I learned that he expected me to be happy for him and think that it's awesome that his friends think so highly of him. Even when I challenged that I know you the best as a husband because I'm married to you, he told me his friends know him better because I tell them things I do not tell you. He also shared he didn't think they literally mean perfect in the sense of having 0 flaws, but this interpretation was they thought him to be a high-quality role model husband. When they gave him the compliment, he simply said thank you and said he wanted to ask them later about why they think that. As for me, the perfect, not perfect husband talk is okay. What bothers me most in this situation is when OP's husband told, well, my friends know me better than you know me. What? Why? Why are you married to that person if you're not ready to share everything about yourself with that person? Maybe it's not the best idea? And the second thing is when he said that he would go and talk to them later and specifically ask them why they had told him that he was the perfect husband. How self-obsessed should you be? Thank you for listening. You can also watch this awesome video or that awesome playlist. See you next time!